Hello, friends. I have to be very, very careful. Earlier when I was setting up, the noodle cam was aiming toward the wrong noodle. I was like, oh my. Oh, you got more than you bargained for. I do say there's a money-back guarantee, but oh dear. That action. Oh, welcome. It's great to see everybody. Lungs, good to see you. Young Love 4020. Ted Summer, how are you, my friend? Winston, great to see you. Yesterday, we'll be talking more about that tonight. Michelle Waldo, I will see you coming up this weekend. Hey, Flagship Bear, great to see you, my friend. Alex T, Lad Bear, Craig, Yaz Child, James in Germany. Achtung, welcome, my friend. Jack the Giant Slayer, good to see you. And let's see, Flat Accord Music Hall, the usual suspects are here. Let's see if I can find an unusual suspect. Where did I put this guy? I don't know. I'm going to have a little heart-to-heart if I can do this right. With your friend and mine. He's not the friend you wanted, but he's the friend you deserve. The ceiling fan man. Welcome, my friend. Are you there?
Domino's Pizza may help you. Can I take your order?
This is the New World Order. Is that what we got going on here?
Oh, you ordered the New World.
Yeah.
I thought you said the Nude World. No. You're in the wrong saloon.
Well, we're heading into into new directions.
Okay, stop already. I never like to encourage you. Every time I encourage you, I give you an inch, and even that comment, don't even step on that one.
You mean 8 inches.
I can't even get out of it. How do I get out of it, help chat? Oh, my God.
Alrighty then. Well, I did swear, this is something I got from watching your streams. I told you this yesterday, that I had decided that I was going to let my hair down a little bit, which is difficult being, the friendly neighborhood bald guy. But it's going to just kind of loosen up a bit. I think, you look around you and you become affected by the things around you. It's like, then of course, you want to be a serious researcher and don't want to have to put all those disclaimers like you have to do.
Yeah, isn't that great? I don't know, what do I get now? Underneath my videos, I get flat Earth is a
you get the flat Earth one?
Amongst retarded people back in the 1800s. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like they put that under my shows. And
I got
whatever.
I had for a moment gotten the letter that precedes RSTUV. I got that for a minute until I complained vociferously, and they removed it, weirdly enough. But they still say that as soon as these things go live, if the ones that are monetized, and I don't monetize the Sunday ones, but just the Saturday, and they'll say it's not we ain't good with that, son. Y'all talking about that weird shit. We ain't good with that. So anyway, I just decided I'd be maybe relax for a minute. I don't know how long it'll last. Maybe it's just that green butter I got made me relax. I don't know. No,
you know what it is, and I felt this the last time because I've now been to 2 of these. We went to the one yesterday that Dottie had last year.
Yeah.
I forget where was that one. Someone used Des Moines, Washington, and that's where I first met my. Some of these people that we talked to in the chat and on the shows and stuff, where I met Ted and you and so forth. And I remember after we left that one, we were super high excited, and the next day we were crashing. It's like taking the best drug ever. And so there's at least I would think 50 plus people that showed up to this last one that Dottie had over in Shelton yesterday. And I was there, and Mark Sargent was there, and you were there, of course. And we met all these wonderful people who were in the chat. And then again, today, it's almost like it's a hangover. Don't you feel it, Baldini? I mean, it's just
a little bit. I mean, I did sleep a lot today. I was really tired because yesterday I had gotten up at, I don't know, it's like 1:30 or something. I got I usually do get up pretty early, but it was really early. And then after the drive down with Brian Hattery, and then met a bunch of great folks. And
Brian Hattery!
Right? I know.
Sorry.
No, that's perfect.
I see his name, and I told him that.
That's perfect. Well done, my friend. I'm getting a little feed loop back.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have screamed.
Yeah, you did that. You caused it. Anyway, so we were Brian Henry, and
If anybody doesn't know his name in the chat, if he's there yet, I saw him earlier. When he set up his account, he just typed it in, and it was on caps locks, and he didn't think anything different. But now when he shows up in the chat rooms, it looks like he screams his name. So
Rookie
yeah,
mistake.
I kind of teased the crap out of him at the thing.
Yeah, no, he just wants all the girls to scream his name. So yeah, every time you communicate with me, you're screaming my name. I know that you want to. Oh dear.
So I ruined your story. Go on. So you're in the car with him. You guys.
Yeah, no,
driving,
it's just saying that. Okay, so yeah, it's just so we drove down. We were talking blah blah blah. Then I met a bunch of great people, and there was some of it was kind of emotional, man. Tears were shed, and there was lots of hugs. One thing I did not see. So there was about 60, 65 people there, maybe 80 if you count the kids, splashing around, and it was just a blast. One thing I did not see, and I noted this to Mrs. Baldini when I got home, was that no one that I saw had their face buried in a black screen. Nobody. The heads up, talking to each other, meeting each other. There was nobody with their head buried into a device.
That's fascinating. The only time I ever saw any of them come out was to take a picture.
Yep.
Then they all went away again. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as I got there, I put mine away, which it's sort of like an appendage. It goes with me everywhere, right? But no, I put it away right away. Did you get out a camera? And let's see, I don't have my photos downloaded. Brian Henry, he did get some photos, although I haven't had a chance to edit them at all. So some of them are a bit washed out. He had the major P1000 with him, and I guess it was looking for the curve and it couldn't find it. So there was a lot of them that were washed out there. But no, it was a delightful time, and I met some really really terrific, delightful people that I have communicated with for a while and just hadn't been able to put a face with the with the person. So Miss Mays was there, and she's actually started a new channel, and so we were talking a bit about her stream. She's doing some live streams now, and so that's awesome.
That was so fun to see her too, and her dog. I just love the dog that they have, and she told me, she said she went up to you and was so excited to meet you and hugged you. And then she looked at you and said, "Do you know who I am?" And you said, "No, I have no idea." And then she said, "Miss Mays," and she said, "You picked her up almost off the ground, or did, and hugged her even tighter."
Well, I was excited to see her. Yeah, I mean, once I'm happy to see people are happy to see me. That's good, right? As long as they don't have 30 shekels of silver in one pocket and a knife in the other. I guess I'm in good shape. Yeah.
And the person that gets the award for coming the farthest has to be Winston and her wonderful husband.
They're awesome.
They came from Eugene, Oregon, and just the most lovely people. She's such an amazing woman, and just from meeting her for a few minutes, I just love her. And her husband, what a cool dude. He actually said that he didn't want to come, and then they sat down and watched that show I did on Friday night, and he's like, "All right, this guy seems pretty cool. Let's go." And so they came all the way up, basically.
To see you. Excellent.
Which is just unbelievable.
Which says that Mark Sargent isn't the draw. It's Ceiling Fan Man.
Yeah, right. I mean, hey, he was so fun to meet finally, because I was supposed to meet. That's my third shot at it, and we finally were able to meet up. And I got to tell him, because when I started my channel, at the end of my videos, I'd use a bunch of memes and music. And I said, most of them I took from you, because he used to do that on his podcast that he would do on, and he'd have all these memes in them. And he laughed and I thanked him. And then he said, well, now I have to tell you that he got it from David Weiss at Dearth, or Deterth, however you say it. We don't say it wrong.
Ditra, yeah.
Ditra. And he put them all together. He was going to make this book, but it was going to be this huge coffee table book that no one could buy and you couldn't ship. And so they digitalized them, and he said, "Can you put them on his show?" So those all actually apparently come from David Weiss. Wow. So pretty wild. It's just neat how the information just keeps passing on and on and on, because those guys were doing this stuff 5-10 years ago. I didn't even know it existed, and here I am now passing it on, and now new people are finding it. So it's just beautiful.
And nude people are finding it too.
Oh, stop it. There's no way to get away.
I'm going to change this channel. I think it's going to be called The Naked Truth. What do you think?
Keep working on it. Don't quit your day job.
Don't quit the day job. Damn it! I was just planning on that too. I was like, hey, maybe I should leave that day gig.
So who else do we see there? And then Krista Hanna, she's an amazing gal, and she's potentially going to do more of a presence on YouTube. But you see in the chats in here.
Oh, she's in here right now.
Oh, she is? Mm-hmm. Hi, Krista. Nice to see you. There she is.
Yeah, there she is.
And Tommy Payne, of course, is just such a beautiful man.
Oh, man, he's awesome.
Incredible.
I brought the staff that he made me, and he brought a whole bunch of others. I saw a bunch of people with stabs. I was like, it's a staff meeting. Look at that. Dude, those things are so awesome. The first time that, I saw yours, I was a little jelly, and then he made one right away, right within days. You were like, okay, come get it. I'm like, what the hell? And I could immediately tell the intention that he put into it was so intense. I was like, wow, pretty amazing stuff. It's great to have him as part of the community, and he's got such a great attitude and such a love for people. That's exactly the. It's like, these are my peeps, man. This is this is the kind of people I want to be around.
And then, of course, we can't forget Friend Ellis, our flat.
Oh man,
just adore her.
Yeah, me too. I have a new BFF.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of bears too, so that was cool.
Yeah, there's
crossover.
And the other thing, so when I told my wife when I came back, I said, yeah, what I didn't see there, because I was, same thing I was telling you, no screens, but you know what her response was? No masks. And I was like, well, yeah, that too. Nobody was. Yeah. Fuck the fucking fuckers.
Yeah. It was a nice day because you felt normal. You felt like
Dude, I've
the
never
world that
felt
you believed
normal.
you lived in, just like a year ago. Even if that was a fake one, that was what we thought was, the real world. And the one we're in now is such a nonsense.
It certainly was a nice respite from the zombies. That's to be sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about normal. I've never, I've never felt normal. But,
no, that's true. We wouldn't be in this room if any of us were normal.
For sure.
So
I've often said that normalcy is simply the average of all weirdness. And
well, here's the funny thing about normal. So
what is the one funny thing about normal? This is the funny thing. You're going to set it up. So,
oh no, I didn't say this is the funny thing.
Yeah,
I said here's the funny. Here's the.
Yeah.
I guess the difference is the and the.
Okay.
See. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Megan the Stallion or the Stallion? What chick names herself the Stallion?
So, for instance, I know Brian says shameless plug. I just put up a video, and it was just trying to show all the times that people have caught on film or camera or TV or whatever, either a famous leader like the Pope or one of the presidents or whatever, Mark Zuckerberg, and their heads phase out or their hands phase out, or,
Sure.
We've seen it all. And so I posted that. And then I thought, you know what, this is a good little thing. It has nothing bad about it, just showing you that there are times when you see something on TV and it's not really there. Yeah. And I sent it to the word normies, some normies I know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I pretty much, it's like taking tests in the water. Do they still think you're crazy? Yeah, they still think you're crazy. I got a lot of, it's all just cameras. You need to stop being such a, can you even say conspiracy theory or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, they got to stop looking into videos. No, I was just like, they're observations. I thought they'd all be like, wow, that's amazing. And I put it to music. But no, it was more like, why are you questioning these things? Were you crazy? And so it's like, when did we become this world that you can't even question something like, hey, that guy's head faced out. Do you think that's a problem?
Yes, you
can't do it.
Ceiling fan man, you must, I can't, how dare you? You must educate yourself about the partially apparent folks. And they prefer, they use the pronouns real, not fake. And
semi-translucent.
Semi-translucent. And occasionally it's also interchangeable with it's real because it looks so fake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we got that going, which is nice. So yes, you must educate yourself because you're being corporealist.
But see, that's the thing. That's what I figured out. It's like when I started this journey, I went, oh my God, there's like craziness going on. I must tell everyone. And then you run around and you go, everyone, look, and you shake their shirt collars and you're like, look what's going on. And then everyone gets in the corner and goes, that guy's crazy. Stay away from him, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, fine. I won't. I'll go in the corner, and I find a bunch of other crazy people, and they're all in the chat. Hey, everyone, nice to see you all again. And we're all going like, hey, you guys see this? Yeah. How come they don't see it? I don't know. They think we're crazy. And then yesterday, I decided, the hell with everything. I'm going to go out there again. I went back to the other side of the room and go, hey, you guys. And they're like, oh, my God, that's a crazy guy. He needs to go back in the corner again, And I got smacked down by at least 3 different normies, and I was like, what was I thinking? So, I like being in this corner with all you guys, and we'll ride it out. And if some of them decide, hey, their room doesn't look like it's having any fun, masked up and shot up, and you can't talk to each other, and you got to be on a TV screen to have a conversation with 6 people now, and they look over at our side of the room, and we're all having a good time. Maybe a few of them come over. So I'm not going to go over there anymore because they don't want me over there. I'll hang out with you guys, and maybe they'll show up. How about that?
Well, we're sitting at the cool kids table in the mental institution. Oh dear. So yeah, come to the cool kids table because we got it going on, and we got the world's most dangerous coffee. It is something remarkable today. I got to tell you.
I wonder why. This guy got a lot of green butter, so he should be set for a while.
A week at least. I do love the green butter. There's no question about it. So all right. Speaking of weird stuff, right? You're hip to the whole idea of Antiquitech, right? And some of John Levy's speculation that Freemasonry is just that. They showed up and said, "Hey, look, Freemasonry." That some of these buildings existed from a previous civilization, and the controllers just sort of walked into them. Are you familiar with that idea?
So I've done quite a few shows with the Truth Seeker 69 original and Steve JMO. Okay. We have a good old time discussing this because my whole thing is when you look at these buildings, and everyone in the chat has seen them, and there's these monstrous monolith buildings with spires and stained glass, like what do you call it, Notre Dame, that kind of stuff. They're all over the world, and they were supposedly built in like the 1800s by hand tools and donkeys.
Some of them in the 15 and 1600s.
Today we can't even repeat them, and we're supposed to believe that and just move on. And again, when I had my eyes closed to all this, and I went to some of these places, they're amazing. You take 1,000 pictures, and then you go, okay, what's next? Where should we go get something to eat? You know what I mean? Like, you don't even take the time to think. It's impossible to make it the way they say. Some of the buildings, they said, took like 100 years or more to build. Now, how do you get a work crew that can all agree like 200, 300, 400 years? Like, you pass on the plans. The technology never changed.
From the same set of blueprints.
No, you got to follow it this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, from the same set of blueprints. It is pretty remarkable, the tales that they tell, right? So and then if you take that premise, and if you're unfamiliar with this premise, certainly you can find a whole bunch of stuff at Martin Lidkey's channel, Flat Earth British. John Levy has got a bunch of stuff on this topic. There's a whole bunch of people that are looking into it, as well as again Steve JMO and True Seeker Original 69. So yeah, a whole bunch of people are doing some speculation on this. It certainly is. Again, I don't know what to think, but it's some compelling evidence. And then there's this, of course, this idea that comes straight from Scripture, right? That there's nothing new under the sun. That all things that have been, and that again, many of the things that we look at in terms of technology and that sort of stuff now are simply recycled and in some ways very weak substitutions for the original. Anyway, these are some of these ideas. I stumbled across a little something. I thought I'd check it out with you and see what you thought about this. So again, in keeping with this idea that there's nothing new under the sun and things get repeated and recycled, let's see what you think of this. Deuteronomy 6:10 through 12. And again, so this is in the Old Testament. And so consider the idea of people coming into the antediluvian or coming to the post-diluvian world, right, after the flood. So this says, when the Lord your God brings you into the land he swore to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that he would give you, a land with large and beautiful cities that you did not build, houses full of every good thing that you did not fill them with, cisterns that you did not dig, and vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, where you eat and are satisfied. And be careful not to forget the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt and out of the place of slavery. So that description sounds very much
Yeah.
like the old world and the new, what we're, again, as it was in the days of Noah. So, very interesting. Very interesting to see that. What's your thoughts on hearing that, Richard?
Oh no, 100%. Well, a couple things. One is you and I just talked the other day because I was reading Nehemiah, and Nehemiah 9. He goes over basically the cycle, the endless cycle that we've been in, and again, we believe in the story of the Bible, and the way it works is, he got us. We were enslaved, and we cried out, and he got us out of Egypt, and then they got all whiny on him, and so instead of killing him, he made him walk for 40 years until they grant their kids and stuff, and then they got the land supposedly, and then they forgot him, and then they got enslaved, and then they cried out, and repeat and repeat and repeat. It goes on and on and on in the Bible. And if you read Nehemiah 9, he basically gets to the point where we're at it again. We've become a society. We completely don't realize that God actually exists and he created everything, and we think we do everything ourselves. We're the gods of the world, and everything's great in this enclosed system and all that. And we've forgotten completely not only God, nature, how to make our own food, how to feed ourselves. We've forgotten all of that. And here we are. And he talks about it in Nehemiah 9 that we're going to get enslaved again. And I think here we are again. There are people that, however you want to explain it, they have lineages that go back hundreds of years, all the people in power, and they're all, what do you call it, nepotism down and stuff. So there are some people that understand how the system works better than us, but we're figuring it out. But yeah, that's how I see it. They definitely they got here. The stuff was already here, and that's the only thing that explains it. And there was some event that I believe happened. I don't know how far you want me to keep talking on this. If you had to wait somewhere to go.
No, I just was again. I thought that was very interesting. And again, I'll read it again if you want to go look for it yourself. It's Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy. And that's part of the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible ascribed to Moses. So this is again Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting at verse 10. When the Lord your God brings you into the land he swore to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that he would give you, a land with large and beautiful cities that you did not build, houses full of every good thing that you did not fill them with, cisterns that you did not dig, and vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant. And when you eat and are satisfied, don't forget, be careful not to forget God. I found that just fascinating.
It like kind of proves that whole, exactly what we're saying, that when they write on these buildings, they don't say built this year, they say founded. Like, oh, we found one. This one's over here. And then they dig it out. Because there was also another event that happened that buried a lot of these in huge amounts of mud. And again, nobody really knows exactly what's going on with all this, but there's evidence because there's floors under the ground and stuff.
Yeah, there's
some of the buildings are way deeper and longer than they show now.
Yeah, there's a remarkable bit of, just all kinds of evidence for. I guess I would say for we don't know what would appear to be resets, or that this has happened again more than once. Civilizations have changed, been built up, and then gone away. This is alluded to in the movie Mother. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but it's a pretty clear one-to-one allegory that it recycles over and over. There's all sorts, of course, in the Vedic tales, it's all about recycling and going over, and so you've got the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, going round and round, the cyclical version. And then when you look at, this is a conversation that Brian Hattery and I had on our return trip yesterday, right? Dealing with these changes, in culture, and one moving to the other, right, and how they have done such a good job of erasing, and kind of conflating and putting them all together. And so it's really difficult to find the index, but that where to begin. But once, like we were talking about kind of our history, and like I said, once I got it through my head that between, the Jesuits and the Benedictine monks, that they invented large chunks of history, right? Minimum of 300 years and maybe up to like 1,000 years if you look at the evidence that in the area between like the 1100s, so the 12th century and even up to the 18th century, that the preceding number was not a 1 but an I. In fact, if you look at those that have another 1 in the number, like 716, it would be I716 because the 1 and the I don't compare, and some of them even are clearly a J. And so this would indicate the I would be the Isos, which is the original Latin for Jesus, and then of course the J would be the more modernized Jesus. So the year, alluding to the year of Jesus, 615 or whatever, right? Instead of 1615, that they may have just dropped 1,000 years. It'd be super easy to do if you were looking to add history. 300 years is kind of, you'd have to do some math, right? Do some numbers, and the work of Anatoly Fomenko and Velikovsky and some others with the math that they put to it. It seems like, again, certainly they did invent some bit of history. Who knows how much? 1,000 years seems pretty direct. It seems like the easiest way to do it. But once you get once you get the idea that everything that they tell you is a lie, and you can kind of the hardest part, I think, with both, religion, you and I have talked about this before, but also beliefs, right? The hardest part, I think, is unlearning the bits that you thought you knew, letting it go. It's remarkable how much we accept without realizing it, of the programming. The things that I still find myself saying, that something is global, right? Instead of saying worldwide, that sort of stuff. I find myself still inured in the language, right, of the old world or the old paradigm, if you will. So that's something I talked about yesterday. In fact, was language. So.
Well, yeah. Well, I have discussed this at length. Because see, there's two ways of thinking. So if you look at the Bible, there's a lot of people. Everyone can agree we're in some form of awakening, okay, towards the end of the book. There's some people think maybe that means you're going into tribulations. Could be. But I have this this nagging thing in the back of my brain. If you look at the evidence that you just talked about, there's 1,000 years that they've messed up, right? You've got coins and stuff that you can prove, and buildings that, like you say, it's not a 1. It's been changed and it's an I or a J or something. So if you have if everything in this world is the opposite, so the Dark Ages were a time when everyone forgot everything for a period of time. Makes no sense.
So we're told, yeah. No buildings were built or anything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like we all got stupid for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And then, Renaissance. So if everything's backwards, if the Dark Ages were actually the Light Ages, well, that lines up with the 1,000-year reign of Christ. And when you look at the buildings that couldn't have been made today, that most likely were powered somehow through free electricity, Tesla kind of technology, through spires and stuff that they're called antenna, or they're called just decoration, but they actually had functionality. I saw fireplaces in Europe that had a metal backplate but no chimney.
Brian Hattery and I had the 45 minutes of this conversation too. Yeah.
Oh, Brian
Hattery, this very conversation. Yes.
And so the electricity would heat up the plate, and then of course everything was red brick. And if you have ever had a red brick fireplace, which I have, that'll heat up the house so much for hours once you've got a good fire going. And even after the fire's out, it continues to heat. And a lot of these buildings were made of red brick and stuff. And then the stained glass. What if? And they had giant organs, right? And organs we're finding out because there's the thing with musical tones and stuff. They're healing tones. If you had this gigantic, monstrous organ that you could play these tones out of, and maybe you help heal a community or something, I don't know. Or just sounds that would reach the heavens, and then the light would come from inside the building, because they're always dark inside, and shine out, and it would shine out on the outside of the stained glass and make beautiful rainbows in the skies of all different colors and beauty. And to me, that sounds like 1,000-year reign of Christ, because if I had the ability to build a building and Jesus was next to me, I'm like, hey, Jesus, check that one out. And then other people would be next to me going, oh yeah, look at my building. And so what if that all went down, okay, and everyone's having a good old time? Because all the people that came before us, in the days of Moses and Noah and all that, they're crying out from the grave, when's it our time? So they have their party with Jesus, and all of a sudden the bell rings, like in Cinderella. He's like, all right, we got to go, because your kids and grandkids, they haven't figured this shit out either, and they're going down the same rabbit holes you guys did. So we need to get out of here, and they got to go through this. So then they leave. So then you're at the back of the book, the short season of Satan. It doesn't say how long it is. Thank God, literally, it's short. And he's going to do what? Everything he always does. He's going to mimic and pretend to be God. So his revelation, or what do you call it, Armageddon, or whatever that is, it's going to be the crappier televised version. You know how the TV was never as good as the movie? It's going to be the crappy version of trying to make it look like everything in the book to try to scare you, because his whole world runs on fear. It's the opposite of God's world. God's world's love, Satan's fear. Everything here is to scare you. There's a virus going to kill you. There's a terrorist going to kill you. Your neighbor's going to kill you. Your food's going to kill you. Your sky's going to kill you. It's all it is. But you got to get out of that. That's how you break out of it. You go, it's all a joke.
Hold my hand.
Right?
I'm scared. Ceiling fan, hold my hand. All that scary stuff. You're scaring me. Hold my hand.
Sorry, I go off on tangents. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a little bit, but I get you.
You know what I mean? So I'm not worried either way, because I'm going to find my way through it, because I know God exists.
I've heard.
And at the end of the day, He's the guy that made everything, right? Sure. So it's like if you're in the Super Mario game, don't worry about Bowser or whatever, because you know the guy that's writing the code. Just say, "Hey, get me out of here," and he does. That's what I said.
Yeah, I mean, so I've heard that idea before. I find it interesting, and certainly with the evidence that they changed the timeline, and it appears that they did.
One more thing before you go. Wait, one more thing, and then when Satan comes back, what's he going to do? Screw this place. And he did something, fried the motherboard or whatever, and destroyed the buildings. And then you got instant liquefaction. You can look at Jen's channel. She goes over red brick and how they liquefy. And then immediately something happened and they cooled off. And then that's a lot of buildings are buried in like these mud floods of liquefaction that happened. So I think that's what happened when he came back and he was loose out of the cage. And he's like, screw this place. I mean, that's my ideas. Oh, go ahead now. I'll stop.
Okay. Oh, please do. No. Woo. No. So no, I've heard the idea before. I've investigated it. I still have a number of questions to make that work. Again, I can't say it's not. I still lean toward hasn't yet been that we haven't yet seen the return of the king, but we'll see. Again, I reserve the right to be completely wrong.
So how do you think those buildings got made? I mean, obviously not with donkeys, but how did they make them?
Oh, well, there's a wide variety of possibility. I think that it seems clear to me that at one point, at least one, if not more than one, worldwide civilization was a much higher civilization than are we now, and it would appear
like
to be
in Atlantis.
Yeah, but it would appear to be both antediluvian prior to the flood and post-diluvian afterwards. That and more than once. I mean, it appears to me that occurred. And what happened, I have no idea, because they stole it from us. And I told. Again, this conversation that I had both with Brian Hattery and my wife for the last couple of days, right, is that I'm certain that the real version of history is so much more fascinating than the boring version that we're told.
100%, I agree with you.
Right, that it's just it's so much more interesting and fascinating that I would love to know what it is. But I also told him in context of if you ask Dad, right, so. One of the questions I had, somebody asked, "Hey, have you ever asked Dad his name?" And I'm like, sort of. Probably not directly, but I find a number of times when I ask things, the answer is sort of like this: like, why do you need to know? How is that going to help you? What I need from you right now, bald guy, is don't be an asshole. If you can work that out, we'll get with the other stuff, right? So, so don't worry on the finer points until you get the basics down. So I would say, in terms of a parent or a coach, a mentor, Dad is 100% a fundamentalist in terms of teaching the fundamentals and getting you to a place of comprehending the nature of love, right? And then the rest of the stuff will come. And that's my experience anyway with the relationship with the Creator. Is much of the things that I ask, the answer is. Why do you need to know? Or you're too dumb. You wouldn't understand it anyway. So, I'm going to need you to get all the way up off my back on that right now. And that's how we roll with that. In terms of where are we in the book, I don't really know. If I had to guess, and if I had to put money on it, I would say that we are probably right between the first and the second seal opening.
Yeah.
in early Revelations, Revelation 5, I think. It's 5 or 6. Anyway, that's where, if I had to put money on it, that's where I'd put it. But the truth is, I don't really know.
Right, because he even says we don't.
Yeah,
So it's
so
our best guess, everyone. Yes.
yeah, so I'm going to follow along with the book and see if I can identify things as they happen. But if I had to take a stab at it, thank you for that. If I had to take a stab at it, that's where I'd go with that. There was
And you know what? Because either way, it's you'd be in the same place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's God's book we're following, great. And if it's Satan's mimic of it, we'd be in the same place. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You got to just prepare for the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is that ultimately, I trust Dad no matter what, and so I trust him for the things I don't know, especially. Right, because I some things I can't know, so I just trust him through that. I know that he's good, that they are good, and then I can trust them implicitly, even with my life. Though they slay me, yet I will trust them, and I stick to that. So it is of no consequence to me. I mean, I'm certainly curious, and I want to know everything, but there are some things that right now I don't know. Although I haven't, I would also say that there are some things I probably haven't asked about, right? But in terms of where are we and what time is it, I ask that question a lot. And most of the time, the answer really is just, keep your head on a swivel and look around you, right? Perceive these things. Use good discernment. Listen to my voice. Be ready. These are the kind of answers that I get. And so if that's helpful to you, I would say ask yourself, because my experience is going to be patently different than yours. But that's my experience. When I ask these questions about what time is it, really the answer is just be ready at any time. You don't know what day or hour your life will be demanded of you, right? It could be, for all you know, you're going to get hit by a truck, right? So the end comes right then. That's the second coming for you right then.
The second coming was the red light you didn't see.
Yeah, exactly. So you've been preparing for the wrong thing, right? So you never know what day or hour that your life will be demanded, and to be ready, right, to meet your Maker. And that's my goal at all times, right? I love my Creator so much, and I just want to be with them. And so this place is just a hassle,
If this thing is all just like a lot of it, whatever you want to call it, a matrix or whatever. So who's in here with us? There's real people, there's some nefarious people, and there's fake people. So what are we doing with that information? Well, they're all tests to our testament to being here. And the only thing we need to do is, how do we treat everyone around us? And if you truly find out you love your neighbor as yourself, that's where you find true peace, and you find God. He finds you. I mean, if you're doing that already, he'll find you because you didn't realize that you were already doing it, kind of thing.
Well, and that's kind of that's one thing I did want to touch on. I'm glad you reminded me of that. CFM is people we have many times talked about the difference between relationship and religion, and that relationship harm people and religion heals people. Right, and even according to Scripture, right, we're told this, that true religion is...
Did you change it around? You said the opposite way, I think.
Huh?
Say it again.
I said religion harms people and relationship heals people. Did I misstate it?
I think you had it backwards.
Okay.
I got very confused. Easy to confuse me.
Yeah, well, I don't want to mislead anybody. Go religion. That's right. Forget about that relationship. Just get into our religion. That's the message of the Catholic Church, right? You don't need. In fact, you don't deserve that relationship. We've got you covered.
And God says, don't call anyone Father. Okay, what do you call these guys? Oh, Father.
Yeah. Do everything exactly the opposite. In fact, we're the only intermediary. Forget what Jesus said about you don't need one and I'm your only intermediary. Use us instead. We're better.
Have no idols. Okay, what are we doing? Oh, hang that giant thing of Jesus over the where the pastor preaches or Father preaches.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, what are we doing? And put a giant fish hat on him.
Oh, that works.
Cover his cone head, maybe.
Yes. And no, it looks for all the world like Satan coming out of hell. But no, that's Jesus. That's
And the Pope talks out of an area that looks like a snake head.
Yeah,
and I'm not making any of this up. Go look it up. It's ridiculous.
Sure, his audience room, his audience chamber is a big freaking snake head, but nothing to see here. It's all good.
No, and that's what makes people that actually find God or are spiritual look bad. Is they're like, oh, they're one of those nut jobs. Trust me, I was on the other side of this. I knew someone, one of the sweetest people ever, but she was so into the Bible that we couldn't really kind of hang out with her because I didn't get it. And not that I walk around with a Bible in my hand going, do you know Jesus? No, I don't do that. But I might relate stories that I know during a conversation or something, or keep it to myself. But it's something that if this book was just a book written by a bunch of men and rabbled over the years and changed and altered, whatever, why does it still relate hundreds of thousands of years, whatever, to my life and something happening yesterday? You know what I mean? Or, how does the words keep kind of changing to where I read stories and go, wow, I never saw it that way, How does that work? And why is it the one book that does that? You can't pick up, Twilight
effect.
and say, oh, I remember how that relates to my life, right? No, you wouldn't go back to that garbage anymore, but it was
It's the Mandela effect. It just keeps changing for you.
yeah, right.
No,
But
we're
seriously,
told
like,
we're
people
told
fight
that
over
it's
this
the
one book. Nobody's fighting over whatever Wizard of Oz anymore. They still fight over the Bible, and they try to make us all fight. It's
yeah. Okay. Well, we're told again, that well, here's the point that I wanted to get to. Right,
please.
is that Jesus said that they will know you're my followers because you have perfect doctrine and you know all the texts, and you can shout people down and tell them where they're sinning. Right? No, that's not what he said. In fact, he didn't care much for that at all. What he did say was that they'll know that you are my followers by the way that you love one another and the way you treat one another. And again, pointing out the difference between religion and relationship. This is how James, the book of James, puts it. It says, religion that God accepts as pure and faultless would be this. So look after orphans and widows in their distress and to keep yourself from being polluted by the world. That seems pretty straightforward. What you do, right? And I've said this before, that it's, it may be coarse language, but it's basically don't be an asshole, right? Love God with all your heart, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And just to that end, I wanted to offer this. I love our tribe so much, and I really, ask much of you. I so appreciate those who have been kind enough to donate, and just hat tip to the last couple of days. You know who you are, the folks who donated. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated, and it's so your generosity, right, is so genuinely and sincerely appreciated. I love you guys. But here's something I wanted to ask in particular. I met somebody at the event yesterday that I was aware of and is in the community, but I got a chance to meet this person, and they got such a great attitude and just such a great reflection of this, and their goal and intention is to help others in the community and just be that kind of person. But they've been kind of going through it right now, unable to work, and so if you are able, I would love if you could just throw a couple of bucks. I don't want to, again, I just want to keep their business. So if you can, in the show description, you'll find my PayPal thing. And if you would just make a note on there and just say something to the effect of love wins or something, so I know it's specific for this person, right? So just say that you're giving to love or paying it forward, something like that, so I know exactly where it's supposed to go. And I'll get together with Ceiling Fan Man, and we'll put together, just pass the hat real quick. Doesn't have to be much, but just anything I think will do something. We just want to do something good for somebody. That's all. And I'm not going to beat the drum too long, but if you can, I sure would appreciate it. And I know that Dad loves a cheerful giver. And so, anyway, just asking for that.
I know who it is, and it's a very lovely person and very deserving. So that's really nice. So.
Well, it's again, I think it's something that we ought to, is to take care of one another as best we are able. And I know people have, again, reached out and helped me when Madeline and I needed it. We were really inches from like truly being homeless, and we didn't know where to go, what to do, and people stepped up and helped us, and we wouldn't have made it. And so ever after, we've been doing our best to pay it back and pay it forward as best we can, and we've been super blessed ever since. So one thing I can tell you is that you cannot outgive the Creator. If they ask you, if you get nudged to help somebody out and you're worried about, I can't afford it right now or this month, my experience is you will never you'd go wrong by responding to that nudge. Even if he asks that you give all you have, he will replace it and then some to honor the gift. I've never ever seen that fail. I've never seen somebody do what they were supposed to do and have it go amiss. But I have seen regret, right, all the way around. Anyway, that's what I want to say. I have gotten so much more joy out of giving than receiving. It is a wonderful blessing to receive when you need it most, but it is even more lovely to have the opportunity to give, and that's that's what I'm trying to do right now, especially in the area of communal living, right? That so many of us now want out of this crazy rat hole. Oh my gosh, the world has gone just bananas. Look at that. Look at these lovely chemtrails we see in this time-lapse video.
It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
persistent
they're putting it in
contrails.
old movies too.
Yeah, persistent contrails. In fact, they're so persistent they go all the way back into time into old movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, real quick before I forget, I saw like a while back in the chat before one of my rants, someone was asking, they don't have a Bible, what's the one that you recommend? I only have read basically the KJV. That's where I decided to start. It's not the easiest one because you really have to. I mean, I loved it when I had to take classes where I had to learn Shakespeare plays and stuff because you really have to learn another language almost. And so it helps me now that I read through it because it makes me like look upwards when I don't know what they're saying. But Baldini is probably the best person to take because he's got experience with multiple ones. So what would you recommend if someone wanted to dabble?
I would say one of the best ones I could probably recommend, especially if you want to get into it and you have questions about how much it's been grappled or what the difference between translations is. An interlinear Bible has 4 versions side by side. I think it's King James, New International Version, Revised Standard Version, and can't remember the other one. And usually with Strong's Concordance numbers, which where they identified each of the Greek and Hebraic words into complete structures, and then there's a number assigned to that. And so every place that it shows up, you can refer to that and see what the context is and compare. And so if you really want to study for the student, there's that. If you just want to read it, I would say New International Version is not too bad, but there is, grappling here and there. King James is, I would say even the Geneva Bible is closer to the, it's kind of a transliteration. There's, if you just want to get quickly into it, there's a free app out there, Bible.com, and it's called, and so you just go to Bible.com, but they have an app for Android and iPhones. And there's dozens of English and other language translations as well. So you can just compare all of them side by side. Now, keep in mind, it is electronic, and so that, if you're worried about it being changed at any time, there is that. But that's what I use for reading on these programs is the Bible.com with their multiple translations, and some of them are fairly interesting. For example, there's a version of Psalms that's set to meter, so it's like iambic pentameter. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I give you an example of that. Let's see if I go to this translation, which is I'll find it here.
What I would like to mention is I'm now on my 3rd time through it because to read it, it's real easy. You put these apps on and they play audio with a really good voice, most of them. And so you can put it on the background and listen and read as you do other things.
Yeah, so that version of it as well. I use that all the time. So that it's called YouVersion is the app, and many of the translations do have somebody have read it already, and you can hit play, and it'll play in the background. Not all of them, but many of the translations have been recorded, and I use them all the time. I do. Here's an example of the. In fact, it's from 1650, so it's the metered Psalms from 1650. And this one is, I'll do the 23rd Psalms in common meter. Just a bit of it. So, most people are familiar with the 23rd Psalms. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, right? And so this is the way that they put it in that meter. The Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He makes me down to lie. In pastures green he leadeth me, the quiet waters by. My soul he doth restore again, and make me walk and me to walk doth make, within the paths of righteousness, even for his own name's sake. Yea, though I walk in death's dark vale, yet will I fear none ill, for thou art with me, and thy rod and staff comfort me still. Right, so that's the way it comes off. It is pretty. It's an interesting take on it. Again, it's not perfect transliteration, of course. And then there's another one that is interesting called The Message, and that's a modern translation that actually started with the Psalms and then came to include the New Testament. Now the whole Bible is done this way, and this is an author who basically took the original version, the original language, and then did his best to kind of put it into a much more modern idioms, right? So not just kind of the word for word, but the cultural context as well. And so but it is definitely a paraphrase. It is not good for direct study if you're looking for word combinations, that sort of stuff. But this would be that first same part of the 23rd Psalm. God's my shepherd. I don't need anything. You've bedded me down in lush meadows. You find me quiet pools to drink from. True to your word, you let me catch my breath and send me in the right direction. Even when the way goes through Death Valley, I'm not scared. When you walk by my side, your trusty shepherd's crook makes me feel secure. You feed me a 6-course dinner right in front of my enemies, and you revive my drooping head. My cup brims with blessings. Your beauty and love chase after me every day of my life. I'm back at home in the house of God for the rest of my life. That's the 23rd Psalm according to The Message. And again, there's a lot of great language in that. So yeah, if you're looking for different versions of the Bible, again, King James Version is what many people go to. There's a lot of dogma around it. I try to avoid dogma. My karma ran over my dogma.
Like
yeah, so anyway.
Woof. But you know, what's interesting is like you're reading Psalms and before I even picked up the Bible, I thought that's how the whole thing was. You know, it's just like all these little prayers to God and stuff. Mm-hmm. But when you actually read it, the stories are fascinating.
Oh, gosh,
there's
yes.
drama, there's excitement, there's violence, there's adultery, there's murder, there's everything.
Intrigue of all kinds.
Watch on TV and movies.
Heinous fuckery most foul, indeed.
It's crazy.
And I mean,
there's even conversations with God that blow me away when Moses is up on the mountain.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's like, okay, God, so what do we do? And he's like, well, all right. So you guys were all in trouble and I got you out. You saw what I did there. Wasn't that cool? We parted the sea and then they all died and you guys got away. Isn't that awesome? And he's like, yeah. All right. So you're going to write me these laws and stuff. And he writes them all down. And then God looks down there and they're like making a molten or golden calf, Mandela effect. And they're all praying and to it. Aaron's brother gets them together and says, yeah, okay, let's try this. God knows, literally, when Moses is coming back, let's just build a giant golden calf and pray to that, because what could go wrong? And so God's up there, supposedly looks down there, he goes, screw it. Look what they're doing. I'm going to kill them all. And Moses is like, hey, stop a second. You can't walk them all the way out in the desert and then just smite them all dead right here. No one would listen to you anymore. He's like, fine, I'll kill a few of them, but you got to go down there and take care of things, you know? And so, like, the stories are crazy when you, like, start reading it. And I know there's people maybe that don't even believe that it really happened. I totally am one of those people that all these things happen and they're trying to let us know, because here we are again. We're still in Egypt and we're enslaved.
And I get into a smiting mood a lot, so I understand smiting.
And they say he's a terrible God, fearful God, but a loving God, a merciful God, and slow to anger. Well, my God, how many times are we going to forget he exists? I'd be pissed too at this point, right? How many times has he done this? Yeah, we do it every time.
One of the things I find interesting is the number of times, and I found this particularly relevant. The number of times throughout both the Old Testament and also in the New Testament, for example, the book of Hebrews is almost entirely this. But there's so many, especially in the Psalms, say from about 70 through 150, where he's reminding them of what God has done for them in the past. And there's so much that goes back to the Exodus was clearly a big one, right? That he took an entire people out of captivity and slavery and brought them through the desert, literally parting a sea for them, bringing water out of a rock, giving them bread from heaven to appear daily. Every day was a new miracle. Every day he cared for them. And so this is brought up and reminded over and over and over. So there's so many Psalms that retell the story over and over. The entire, again, book of Hebrews reminds you of this. Jesus repeated the history lesson. And I found that one of the things that is absolutely true about just the nature of humanity is how, because we are wrapped in this bubble of time and we experience time in this linear fashion, we seem I would say inappropriately and inordinately focused on what's happening right now, and we forget the past. I can't tell you the number of times that I have faced challenging circumstances, and I'm all, Dad, what up? Why are we doing this? It sucks. And one of the first things he always does is to remind me where he's brought me before. That in every case prior, he's been there, and I needn't worry. And when I remind myself of all the things that he has personally done for me, and certainly, again, this is one of the biggest ones that we see in Scripture, right? Remember what he did. Remember the things that he has done, and that he is not only a loving and compassionate Father, but powerful. As you said, the programmer of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And he can, with a thought, make mountains melt like wax. He can upheave the oceans. He can do whatever he wants. It doesn't have to be within the bounds of what we consider the laws of physics, or even presumptive likelihood. He can do whatever he wants, and I trust him for that. So to that degree, I think remembering. That's actually one of the things that I love about the fourth commandment, right? If you look at the 10 Commandments, that fourth commandment dealing with the Sabbath, and it's the only one he says, remember, right? Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. One day that I'm going to show up and spend extra time with you, right? So not a burden like, oh, here's a rule you have to keep. It's just, hey, you want to make a standing date? I'll come show up. And so I love that. About
and this man talking right now is the one that helped me with this, because see, through my awakening process, I have questions, and so I look at the 10 Commandments and check. I can do these, but that one, keep the Sabbath. And I asked Baldini, I'm like, I don't get this, because we know the calendar is all messed up, and this date's been graveled, and this, that, and the other, and no one could ever really explain to me what that meant. And just like he said, he's like, hey, how about this idea? If everyone is trying to tell you it's Sunday, and all the original people were usually keeping Saturday pretty calm, so they were already doing it. So there's one clue. Another clue is the people in the fish hats, they all wanted to change it to Sunday, right? They even wrote it in their new dogma that they wanted Sunday as the day of rest, right? So let's say it is Saturday. And I said to Baldini, I go, well, how can you be so sure? And he goes, well, if everyone's trying to contact him on Sunday, and then you try to contact him on Sunday, and he gets all the answers, and he's like, hey, dude, I'm busy. It's my work day. I'll tell you what, I'm free Saturday. Why don't you give me a ring? I'd love to chat with you all day. If you want to, I'm available. And I like looking at it that way. Yeah, you don't have to one day I'm going to be good for God and talk to him. No, I talk to him all the time. Most of the time he says, what do you want now? But I talk to him constantly. And that one day, though, he's like, hey, if you want to chill with me, I'd like to hang outside with you and at the park or whatever. That's the way I see it now, and you gave me that, so thank you.
No, I and again, it's not mine either. It's again, one of the things that really impressed me again was talking to a Jewish rabbi, right, about some of their concepts, and yeah, right. Oi, what do you get, my sugar? Yeah. You know why God invented Gentiles?
Tell me.
Somebody had to pay full price.
Nice.
I gave up being Jewish when there was no money left in it. Anyway, so now I'm Jewish.
Yeah, I always tell everyone, if you want to make sure that you don't get someone upset, never hit it without the ish. Yeah. That's what they did the first time, and they put the yellow stars. They didn't use the ish.
Ish, yeah, that's
Sorry, go on. I'm off track.
Ish, yeah, wait. But who's counting? Oh dear. Yeah. So
I do have a couple of things. If you have nothing right this second.
If I have nothing, well, I did until you distracted me. But no, hey, go ahead. No, it's fine.
Your buddy Joe Ray, who I definitely have to get a hold of soon. Sorry, I haven't yet. But he mentioned the Gutenberg Bible. I'm going to check that out. But he was asked about the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I think some of those are like, Book of Enoch and things like that. I read everything because I think there's knowledge in anything. I'm finding, like I said, my friend that's Muslim, he got me. I'm reading Quran and passages that match up to things in the Bible.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fascinating because they were all about the love of Abraham, and who else was? God. So, it can't be all that bad. And I asked him, because they always tell us that they're going to want to come over and kill us. And I say, hey, in all the years you guys have grown up over there, did you ever want to come over and kill me? Like, they didn't even know we existed. It's all just garbage nonsense, the radicals in any place, but it's all pushed up in the media. But in any case, I read everything to try to get information. Now, because I pick up a Quran and read some passage out of it, that doesn't now make me a Muslim any more than any of these other things make me a soup label can of whatever I am now. But I'll tell you something, it's like I'm not going to shy away from information, and reading something doesn't change you any more than inviting vegans over to your house and feeding them, vegetables. That doesn't turn you into one. That's just what you do out of respect. So I'll read the information and pick the meat and toss the bones. But the stories are pretty amazing, and a lot of them are matching up to things I've read in the Bible. So.
It's pretty interesting, the synchronicity between ancient stories of all kinds. And I love to look at the ancient mythos of creation. I spent several months going through as many as I could find. And at the time, it was, I think, 34, 35 different, creation myths from history. Fascinating stuff. And again, the synchronicity between them is, of course, remarkably consistent. And it's pretty amazing how many of them also shared a worldview that seems to include us living inside a snow globe. Just, I don't know. It's a strange thing. But again, it's coincidence. It's a coinkadink. What a coinkadink.
And that's the other thing. Once you figure out we're in an enclosed system, so all the nonsense of like everything, the resources are going away and being depleted, that doesn't make any sense. Because if you've ever had any kind of like terrarium kind of thing, the things don't leave. They just keep morphing in over and over. Like everything that's always been is still here kind of thing, It's not going anywhere.
I'm saying hi to Sue Finelli in the chat.
Okay.
I was distracted by my love.
It's like, that's too much. I won't go there now.
By
By the way, shout out to DeKess. So apparently I did a video I told you about like the fakery going on in the world, and I put it to a Styx song. And then I found out that the day before, well, I just put mine up. So I had made mine Friday, and he had already put one up with the exact same song and very similar looking. So the synchronicities in this realm are just amazing.
And speaking of shout-outs, shout out to the folks who have already donated to our friend who needed a little help. So again, if you can, spread the love. Just again, make sure that you tag your donation to, again, just giving to love or paying it forward. Just, again, be pretty direct with it so I know where it's supposed to go. But we just want to, again, pass the hat for our friend and just say, thank you for being awesome. And we love you. So there you go. Just come around people that way. Don't forget, coming up just a week from now, we will be kind of in the afterglow. We'll be in the afterglow of getting together with people just as we are today. Like you said, the hangover. Let's see. That's not the one I want. I'm going to go down here.
Anybody that has a chance to go to, I can't go to this one, but anyone to get to this one, it's well worth it. Just like I said, for this ultimate high that you just standing around that many people that understand the world and the nonsense going on, it uplifts your spirit. It really does.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing. And this one will be, of course, very special in that, unlike some of the others that, again, it's good to feed your head and get information. This one is really just a direct celebration of us as a community. And so there's going to be art and music, performances by ODD TV, going to do his inaugural live performance, as well as performances by Flat Earth, Chief Crow and the Flat Earth Worms. It's going to be... let's see, Christian Knapp is going to be there. Jason Lindgren is going to do a set, acoustic set. I'll even do some noodling, and there'll be a little jam session. Let's go down here and schedule, see if I'm missing anybody. I know that Cami Nodell and Zach Zabala will be doing How the World Works, a little side thing there. So Media Bear, that's right, is going to be there as well doing some stuff. One Big Love, that's who I was forgetting. I didn't would be remiss if I forgot One Big Love, who was also at Flattoberfest. So again, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, make sure to do so. You can go to flatheartfestivals.com or hit up Karen B, Beefy Karen, and I'm sure she will direct you, point you in the right direction. So that is, of course, people have questions about, oh my gosh, it's at the Shriner Center. You guys are shills. Ah! No. No, it's just a place that we could get together and get cheap beer. It's like $2 a beer down there. It's crazy. No, and we didn't have to wear a mask, so that's good. And that was really what we the criteria the first time was that no masks, right? No mask gay, and so they let us do that for Flattoberfest, and then we were still looking for a place coming up, or was Karen anyway, looking for a place, and then this popped up, so the place that we had scheduled for the 20th wouldn't work out, and then this came back open. We went, hell yeah, we'll come back to you crazy nutty Shriner Freemason freaks. Anyway,
well, two things really quick. One is where we were yesterday was Mason County.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Cool. And the other thing is, I forgot to bring this up. So for whatever reason, and this man, I never see him drink, but he was at the park and he's like, I just need a beer right now. And we're like, okay. So he and I went road trip, right? And we hijacked Kristen.
I was thirsty.
And she jumps in. And so we go to this place. And first of all, we're worried we could even find a place that has like a cold beer. But we find this little convenience store. All over the windows is no mask, don't even think of walking in here, right? And so we all have that moment of like, oh, I wonder if we should try it. But we just go on in, and we're not jerks about it. And this is how I envision it. That whole Jedi mind trick where these aren't the droids you want. If you walk in truth and you walk in confidence and you're not a jerk, because Baldini immediately, as soon as the guy saw us, said, I can't wear a mask due to a medical condition. Is there a problem or can we shop? And the guy goes, go ahead. And that was it. These aren't the droids you're looking for. And that's how I run my life whenever I can walk around. I just try the same thing. And most of the time, it always seems to work. Well, your results may vary. You might run into a store or something. They throw you out. So be it. But you try it, and it worked. And of course, and we got the beer, and everything was great, except they took the picture, and we weren't there. But, that's the way it goes.
That was Dad's timing, Dad's perfect timing.
Yeah, Dad's timing. But that's what I'm saying. I wanted to bring that up because you mentioned the whole beer thing. It's like, yeah, that was an amazing moment that we just need to remember. When you walk around, I just try to pretend the world was the way it was just like a couple years ago, where most people didn't talk to you or notice you anyways. And I just do that and try not to like act all scared. But yeah, so that's it. So Jedi mind trick, try it out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it worked great. I mean, I saw the sign, and so I just said, hey, I have a medical exemption. Is that going to be a problem? It's like, nope. and we just all three piled in.
Yeah, all three of us with all our medical exemptions that we like to breathe.
Yeah, exactly. We are addicted to oxygen. I'm afraid that's just
I'm addicted to oxygen as my medical. I like that one. I'm going to steal that.
I have this addiction. Yeah. Anyway, and again, thanks to those who are continuing to donate to our friend as we pass the hat. Thank you so much. It is much appreciated, and this is again what I love about you guys is your willingness to do this. It is. Like it's why I'm here, and I just want to touch base again on. I know that some of the same people come back, and I do so appreciate each of you who are regular guests here, all the usual suspects, as it were. I know that the content of Saturday's Unintended Consequences maybe ruffled a few feathers or left some questions.
But those consequences were unintended.
They were unintended, certainly. But but no, I'll say this again. In context of Matt at Quantum of Conscience. Again, I'm not telling anybody don't listen to him. I wasn't even saying anything bad about him, other than I disagreed with the premise that there was no evidence for something, as there was evidence. Right? He just chose not to accept it. Just pointing that out, right? So just saying again, and then there was some questions like, "Hey, were you talking about me?" It's like, I don't know. Did you write that email? That's the only person I was talking about. No, I guess
it the foo shits.
Yes, I was just gonna say if the foo shits, wear it, I guess. But if your conscience is speaking to you, I don't know. But no, I didn't invent that. That wasn't kind of a caricature. That was an actual series of emails that I received. So. It wasn't a metaphor for anything else, I promise. The purpose, again, even for that, wasn't to shame that person. I was trying to, again, speak truth in love. And that is, don't be toxic, right? This is not the way. And if you believe yourself to be enlightened and spiritual, and you say that you are both, and more so than 99.98% of the rest of humanity, and that you've got a 7-year spiritual journey, and yet you're willing to bully and harass and manipulate people to get what you want, maybe check out the direction that you're going. Or you can tell me where you're headed, and I'll avoid that place. That's all, right?
Well, you know what I see is if someone is speaking, like I think you even mentioned this, in absolutes, then that's someone I really don't listen to, because everything I've ever said and everything I've heard out of you and other people that I do listen to, it's like, hey, these are my opinions from the research and the things that I've experienced. But do I know this is a fact? Hell no. No one does. In fact, not a single person yet knows what's going on. I mean, God does. Maybe there's some like old elite monsters that have been around, know a little bit more than us. But none of us, all we can do is put together the missing puzzle pieces and see if we can make a picture out of it. So when someone has a channel and they're like, this is the way, let me tell you how, I'll teach you. You're my, I'll explain these things to you because you don't know anything.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work for me, because at the end of the day, whatever book you're reading, I can read it too. And at some point I've read it, and now we're on the same page, literally, and now what?
Yeah.
So I know as much as you, in that sense. So anybody that comes at me and says, this is it, and you don't know what you're talking about, and here's the truth, sorry, goodbye. It's like, because you don't know it either. You might have learned a lot more, and maybe you're smarter, and I can get some information off of you and learn what you know, and then I move on. Because if you're going to start talking to me like you know what you're talking about and I don't, well, I don't need to sit there, Right. I don't know anything, and I'll tell you that every day of my life on this, which shows that I'm on. I know nothing. Here's my experiences. These are the things I've researched. I put it together. This is my theory, just like the freaking scientists do without his white coat, but I do the same thing.
Come on, CFM. You know better. You know that anybody who doesn't agree with me in every single detail is an effing idiot and a shill. And they're an agent sent here by the multiple agencies, alphabet agencies, to take us all down to the FEMA camp.
Oh, I didn't know all that.
I love what Cammie Nodell said in chat. It's like, be like the honey badger, because honey badger don't give a shit.
Exactly.
He don't care.
Dude, I had one video. It was just we decided to put on really loud music, and we put on that song by Phil Collins, "I Don't Care Anymore," and sing it just amazingly, I might add. And I put it up. Of course, I got a copyright strike, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
I was really telling my wife, "Look at that! They think I sing so good. They thought it was really."
Phil Collins, yeah.
Phil Collins,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that song, it's like our anthem. I don't care anymore. That doesn't mean like screw everyone in the world. No, it means I don't care. But like, what did you say? The lion doesn't care what the mouse thinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna do me and treat everyone with respect and love and love God. And you guys do you, and you do your thing over there, and I'll stay over the corner with all these crazy people, whatever you want to call it. Sure. We should come up with a better word. I'm one saying it. Whatever word can we use?
Do no harm and
Misfit Island. I like that one.
Yeah, do no harm, take no shit. Yeah, I don't know. We're the I don't know what we are. The kooky
Misfit
people.
Island? We could go with that till some of the chat comes
The
up.
island of misfit toys. Yeah, we just call each other the toys, or well, the tools.
Tools. Yeah,
You're a
I liked it
tool.
better as Misfits. Now we're doing the Tools.
Yeah,
Someone will do better than us.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Where are we at now?
Well, I think we're gonna come take it in for a landing here pretty soon. But again, I'm just kind of again reiterate this. I have no, I have no ill feeling toward. Certainly other content creators. Is there some that I think are suspect? Only those that only those at a certain level that you probably already know, like that used to have a different name or who are connected to the intelligence community directly, that sort of stuff. I have, questions about that. But I still don't think that disqualifies everything that they say from being true. I don't agree with everybody, and I think that's okay. But I think a lot of people have good information, some better than others. Some have great information, and I can't handle listening to them because their attitude is so crappy. Frankly, and so the information is good, but I think the ROI isn't there for me to have to deal with that kind of hostility and vitriol. Just not my thing. It's just a negative vibe that brings me down. Again, hey Eric, thank you so much, and I love the numeric significance of it. Yeah, Illuminati confirmed, but no, I truly appreciate it, and but that's again, I think everybody's contributing what they can, and to take a position that anyone who has a different view, especially on some that are so much driven by semantics, and it's just such fine splitting of hairs on topics that really ultimately, again, how much further does it get you, right? If you knew all the answers to everything and you are still an asshole, if the whole thing is about a spiritual battle for your soul, it seems that you would have still lost. Right? You won the battle and lost the war for your soul, because again, if it doesn't help you in that area. So if we do agree, I mean, not everyone does, but I'm saying those of us who do have tumbled down these rabbit holes and ultimately come to a place where, they've been lying to us, but for the purpose of because it is a battle for your soul. They're trying to keep you from your creator. And if that is the case, then what does knowing the nature of the world around us help you in making that decision? I mean, if it does, super great, right? Many people have come to accepting and acknowledging and coming into a relationship with their creator from the realization that they've been lied to about the nature of the earth and about our history, and that we're in a closed system, and therefore there must be a creator. And so they went looking for and found the creator. Super great. That is meaningful. But beyond that, knowing more about it and whatever, let's say the nature of what's the construction of that dome above us, right? Is it is it made of crystalline structure? Is it frozen water? Is it hexafluoride, sulfur hexafluoride? What is it? Okay, does knowing the answer to that question get you any closer to the creator, or change your heart? Right, and this is one thing that I've noticed and talked about to people stuck in religion forever, is if that religion doesn't change your heart, then it's worthless. It has no value other than to, in fact, make you a worse person, because you then compare yourself to others and consider yourself above them, and you begin to look down upon them because they don't have it worked out as well as you. And so whether that religion is the religion of knowledge, that I'm smarter than you and I know more than you, and so you're an idiot, right? And you're not worthy of my time. Whether it's that, or whether it's a sort of self-righteousness of dogma and religion, all of those things to me are the antithesis of the nature of the creator. And if love is not the motive, then God is not involved. And that's my words for today.
Can I tell a little story real quick? I mean, where are we going? We got 111 people here. You want to leave yet? I'm light my lighter. Everyone, encore, right? Come on, right?
You're like, hey, you got more people here than I get on mine. I don't want to tell a joke. No, I love messing with you, man.
Here's the thing, because I see some people in the chat, and we're struggling. We're all struggling. And I'll tell you my thing. So I told you we had this most amazing day yesterday. And today I had another revolve around the sun. And so I woke up and I was in a foul mood. And, I was in a foul mood. It's like, because everyone's going to ask me today, what are you going to do today? There's nothing to do out there. Like, right? All the businesses, most of the
But
restaurants
you
are
just
like,
said we revolved around the sun. You just said that. You said.
I'm trying to. Will you go with the story? I talked about a joke where a guy was just ahead, and you had no problem with that. Okay, fine. The sun revolved around me. I mean,
Thank you.
that sounds real.
Thank
Just
you.
you're ruining it. Stop it already. So I woke up in this foul mood, and I love you. And I woke up in this foul
I
mood,
love you too.
and I started saying things like, "This sucks. This world sucks. I hate it. I can't go to this place that I want to do in my day. I want to go to this place. I can't do anything." And all of a sudden, and this is the funny thing, because when I say I talk with God, it's more of a one-sided conversation. I talk and he rarely answers me because I think he just figures it's not worth it. Like, okay, that was stupid. Come up with something else
That's
that's
what I
like
think
really
sometimes.
important. What's that?
That's what I think sometimes.
Yeah,
I just roll
yeah.
my eyes at
But
you. I'm like,
but and I'm obviously joking because he showers me with all kinds of blessings, and
yeah, he
that was my
does.
whole point. So the one time I'm sitting there in thought and thinking how life might, it's not like I heard a booming voice go, "Silly bud, bud." That's what he calls me, "Silly bud, bud." No, I didn't hear that. But what did I get? I felt like, you dummy. There's a whole book you should read if you haven't read it, the Book of Job. Fascinating. Guy, it's like they do this bet where like they're deciding, God's like, look at him, he loves me so much, and Satan's like, oh, he only loves you because of all the stuff he gave him. He's like, fine, mess with him and see what happens. He's not going to denounce me, just don't kill him. So of course he does all these horrible things to him, and every time something gets taken away, Job's just like, well, God gave me that, I guess he didn't want me to have it, okay, fine. And then he moves on, and it's like, oh, this is gone, and that's gone. He's, oh, well, that sucks. Yeah, this really. And then it gets to the point where, and he's getting physical illnesses and stuff, and he finally just goes out into the street and just says, "Hey, God, can you just take me? I'm not happy anymore." He never once says, "God, why are you doing this to me?" He just says, "Can you just take me?" So, and then of course his friends show up and they're like, "Hey, dude, let me tell you what's happening. I'll tell you why you're experiencing this." And there's like 2 or 3 of them. They're trying to explain it, and finally God goes, "Who the frick are you guys? I didn't see you when I made the heavens and the earth. Who are you to tell me what's going on with this guy?" So then I related all that in my head. This all went down in a matter of seconds. I know it took way longer with you guys, but all of a sudden in my head I'm like, what the frick's wrong with you? You're whining. Look at what happened yesterday. Look what you did the day before. You've got food in your belly. You got a roof over your head. You've got money for internet. You got people that you talk. I mean, I just went through this laundry list of the things that just happened, like in the last couple of days. And I was just feeling just so ridiculously stupid. And I know up there he's like, just like, finally, dummy, I tried to explain this to you. What are you thinking? Kind of thing. And it relates to this story that I just learned about the guy that was allowed him to get. My dogs are excited about this story. God allowed him to have whatever he wanted, and he said that he wanted to be able to pray to God every day, every minute of his life. And so he's like, okay, fine. So he sets him up in this little mountain area. He makes sure he has a pomegranate to survive. Somehow that keeps him alive, and fresh water. And he lives up there, and every moment of his life, he just is up there praying to God, which, it's a beautiful thing. He does nothing else in his life but that. So then when he dies, just before he dies, he asks if God can actually take him in the prostrate position, where you bent down with your head on the floor.
Prostate.
Yeah, that one. And so he does. So he takes him in everything he asked for. So then when he goes up there and they're like, and he meets God, he's like, okay, and he tells his angels, go ahead and take him into heaven on my mercy. And the guy's like, what are you talking about, your mercy? And all of a sudden God goes, hang on a second, bring him back. We need to talk about it. Okay, so what do you mean? You're not thinking you're going in there on my mercy? And the guy goes, what about the 500 years I pray to you night and day? He's okay, let's do this. He brings out some scales. He goes, we'll put all your prayers for all those 500 years you live in this side. Now, on that side, let's see. Let's say the gift of your eyesight. I'll put it on this side. Oh, it's already more. He's like, so what is all those, if it's not my mercy, how were you born into existence? What good deeds did you do to allow that? No, I brought you in. And then he goes over all the things that he's gotten in his life, throughout his life, and his sustainment, and how he was able to eat and sleep and breathe, and all the things that he's gotten, and everything about the wonders of his body. And by the time he's done, the guy is just like, you're right, I'm so sorry. And God goes, okay, now take him in by my mercy. And then that's the way I see it. It's like, if you do everything in life just to not because you're afraid of God, because you don't want to disappoint him. Because look at all the blessings he's got you. Yeah, we're all going through struggles and hardships. I'm dealing with some stuff that I've never experienced in my life. And it's hard, but think of all the blessings that you have. We're all still here listening. We're all blessed, all of us. And we've been awakened to the point where we're listening to the people on these screens. So that means God woke you up to a point for some reason. So what is it? You better figure it out. Talk to him and he'll tell you.
Well, I got two things now, since you always have two things. Here's my two things. The first is that it's appropriate that your dogs were barking in the background, because you do remind me of the dogs a lot. You do chase the squirrels pretty readily. And the second thing is that you also, by virtue of you come by it naturally through your genetic gifts. You kind of do, as you were telling the story about how you were all bummed out and you had to be reminded of the blessings. It sounds very much like your ancestors out in the desert, going, "Hey, okay, so you brought us out of here. What? There's no graves back in Egypt. We can't die there. We don't have no water. Okay, you got some water. Where's the meat?"
Wouldn't need bread come out of the ground? Is there a bakery around here?
Yeah,
come on. I
bread.
gotta eat this.
Okay, bread's fine, but where's the meat? Where's the deli? You don't have a delicatessen out here in the desert. Well, we could. There's no graves back in Egypt. We can't die there. Come on.
And why do we walk everywhere?
Yeah, why are we walking here? Oi, my dogs are barking just like ceiling fan man's. Bows counting. Oi. I love you, dude. You crack me up every time we get together. You crack me right the hell up. So yeah, there we go. If you guys again are interested and you are able to, don't forget, pass along a few bucks. God loves a cheerful giver, and we're just trying to hand over a little bit of love in material assets and some fiat currency to our.
We saw at the meetup that's really struggling.
Yeah, we didn't want to, again, their business is their business, but we know they could use the help. So that's all we're going to say about that. And we just, we appreciate this person. We want them to know that we appreciate them because of everything that they do for the community. And they certainly do. So we got that going for us, which is nice.
Yeah, nice. Very nice.
It's very nice. I got to tell you, it's so nice. All right. What do you got coming up? I know you're doing a regular Friday thing now, a Heart to Heart with Ceiling Fan Man. Friday evenings, you've changed the time. It's 8 o'clock on the West Coast, so that means it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on the East Coast. What else you got going on? You gonna be doing any wild and woolly things? What you got going, Ceiling Fan Man?
Well, yeah, I have the Friday night that I do 8 o'clock now, and occasionally I'll throw a video here or there if I have some time, and then of course I'll bounce around different channels because if I get invited, I pretty much go. So yeah, I'm a lot of times on with you or Steve and Jen on there. I put theirs in the chat too. And then I think what I might do, because for those of you that didn't watch my last episode, it's a couple hours long. I invented some games. At the end.
My gosh! Thank you for reminding me. Do you have that queued up? I don't know if there's a way I can do it now. Oh my gosh!
But just the end one? You want just the last one? Because I had a few games.
Yeah.
Let's just do the last one.
Let's see how I can do this. I need the chat window.
No, you got it.
Choose screen to share. So I want you to share your screen.
Oh. Okay. I'll bring up the video then.
There's more.
I was going to say I could put it into a short video maybe, but if you want to play it here, it's actually, I had several games. Let's see, what does it go?
I want the,
you just want the last one.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out.
So I have it on the screen.
Okay. So let's see. I want to show your screen. How do I do that? Not view profile, more. I want to, so this is turn off incoming video. I don't want that. I want to.
Oh, here I see share screen on mine.
Yeah, you need. Yeah, you need to share screen because if I do that, it's going to want to share one of my screens. So I know it's amateur hour. I get you. So let's see if we can do this.
think it's sharing.
Okay,
says.
yep, there we go. All right, so let me put this over here and maximize that. Okay, good. And so we got that going, which is nice. Let me come over here, show that. Make sure you're sharing audio. You should be doing that, hopefully. And there we go.
Oh, you want me to play the audio on this? Got it.
Yeah, well, or you can just walk us through it. Okay, so no, just walk us through it. That's great. So you're gonna do this game.
Okay.
Set it up for us. Set it up for us. This is Ceiling Fan Man. He's got a new game show, and you can see this, I guess, weekly. Or are you gonna? Is this gonna be a recurring feature? Or
I don't know. I just, honest to God, what I did is because there's about 3 games I played at the end, and I worked on them, and I got them all ready, and they took a long time to find some of the stuff I needed. So now I'm like in this dichotomy. Now I have to come up with a game every week. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'm going to try my best. So
okay. All right.
This may or may not be a recurring thing. Depends on how stressful it gets.
Okay. All right. So walk us through what we're doing here. This is
okay. So the game is called. Let's see if it comes up here real quick, and then I'll put it in a faster speed here. That's better. Look like that because I'm going to be stopping anyways. Okay. So. The game is called, is this a bank robber or is this a bank customer?
all right. Bank robber or customer. All right. So I don't know the answers, so I'll play along.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So let me see. Maybe I have to go a little faster on the speed. Because see, I don't know. It was on a video. Okay. Here we go. So bank robber or bank customer?
Well, I'm going to get accused of racial profiling, I suppose, if I say robber, but so we'll go with customer there. We'll go with customer in this case.
All right, customer. I can't see the chat right now, but hopefully people are guessing. I had music playing and stuff when I did it, but here we go. So this person, I sped it up. Hopefully it'll be faster here because we were doing it live on the air. Maybe I need to go to 2 times speed. Hold on a second. Let's see, because I don't want to give away the next one. Where is it? Right here. That is a robber.
Oh, well, see, it struck me as a robber, but then again, I didn't want to be accused of racial profiling. So
I'll just do it this way now.
All right.
Okay. So we have.
All right. So I blew it right away. I failed to follow my instincts.
Bank robber or bank customer?
See, now I missed the last one, so I'm going to go with customer on this one.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to lose again. I know.
Bank robber.
I knew it. I knew it. Always trust your instincts. See, I don't want to be considered. I don't want to be considered a bad guy. So I'm like, oh, okay. Both these guys look kind of sketchy. Oh dear.
Someone mentioned in my chat. Oh, hey, I pause it. That he was walking the wrong way on the aisle.
Right.
So that should give it away.
Yeah, but okay. All right. Yeah,
I know. I'm just kidding.
All right.
Okay, so, bank robber or bank customer?
I'm going to go with customer just because of the pants. I'm probably going to miss it again.
And you know what I find fascinating? Again, I'm not seeing the chat, but regardless, the fact that we're even questioning it tells you the ridiculousness of the world we live in.
Yeah, no, I get your point.
You can't even tell.
It's funny.
Okay, so here we go. So this guy, bank robber. Okay. In Birmingham.
You know what's really funny is the psychology of my choices. That's what's making me laugh. Is the psychology behind why I choose what I choose. It's because like my instincts go, yeah, they're robbing the bank, and I'm like, okay, he's psyching me out because this is supposed to. Oh man, this is great.
It took me a while because I chose the photos very. Now we'll see.
Sure.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Bank robber. Or bank customer.
See, now if I say customer this time, I am going to be accused of white supremacy, right? So this is where they get you, man. This is brilliant, dude. You're oh dear, you're pointing out my virtue signaling. I don't want to be that guy, right? Because they always say, you know, conspiracy theorists are crazy white supremacists. And I'm like, I'm not that guy, I promise. Oh my gosh, this is terrible.
That's what all those guys say too.
Oh God, I know, right? That's exactly what they would say. That's exactly what a cat pretending to be a lawyer would say. I'm not a cat.
I'll let you off the hook. We'll just go in and let you know.
Okay.
And this guy is a bank robber.
A bank robber. Awesome. All right. Man, you got me. Dude, I love you,
bank
man. This
robber or bank customer?
Okay. So, see, this is where you got me again, because now I want to go bank robber, because she looks also nefarious. But I think the guy in the back looks more like the bank robber. So I'm going to go. No, I don't know. I'm going to go bank robber this time. I'm going to avoid my instincts again, and you're going to get me again. Go ahead.
So this was a trick question because she's actually a customer.
Yep.
But they thought she was a robber, so they tried to get her arrested, and they took her outside, but then they released her.
Oh man, dude, you got me. You psyched me out so far in every single one of these. So, well done.
Bonus round, last one.
Yep, well done.
Bank robber or bank customer?
Okay, bank robber. Right, it's going to be customer. I know you're going to do that to me.
Well, and this is the twist of this one because, yes, he was the customer while they were arresting the white woman that was not wearing a mask.
Nice. Okay, dude, this is so well done. This is spectacular, because not only does it reveal the ridiculous nature of the world in which we live, but you also, you point out to my great chagrin and regret and embarrassment that I ignored my instincts to say, hey, I'm not. I know, right? I was wrong. It's crazy. The thing is, I was right, but I didn't want to be right.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Honestly, I did choose these photos specifically to make sure that everyone does a little check on themselves because we all were feeling a reason why we thought one was the other.
Yep.
And we actually had no idea because they all honestly look the same. Everyone in the bank you can't tell the robbers from the tellers from the customers. That's the whole point.
Right.
But yet in our minds, we immediately said, oh, well, I know what that person is. But no, we gotta watch that, and that's why I chose the way it did.
Exactly, your hackles go up a little bit, and you're like, "Oh, be careful of this guy." Then you go, "Hey, you shouldn't be like that, right? Don't assume that because they look like that, they're some kind of thug and they're going to rob you, right?" And then I got busted because I didn't want to be that guy, and then you just hit me 4 or 5 times in a row. I'm like, damn you, man.
I haven't found a single person that can pass the game.
Oh man, that's a great test in psychology. I got to tell you, I love it. And you guys now know that, again, if nothing else, I'm completely honest about who I am, right? That's again, I have no prejudice, but again, I sort of have instincts, and my instincts were right, but I virtue signaled, which is one thing I dislike really badly is watching people virtue signal, and I did it. I just did it. I don't know if it's virtue signaling as much as it is checking myself, right? I don't want to be to have bad instincts, but damn, you got me. Got me
it's
good.
It's being human. We've been programmed. We've all gone through this. It's that whole thing. It's not your fault. But now we know it. So we just got to watch ourselves, keep it in check. And we're all guilty of it. There was only one perfect person, and look what they did to him.
Yeah, exactly. There was nobody's perfect, but there was that one guy, so we killed him.
Yeah. He was bringing down the curve,
Yeah, he messed up the bell curve, exactly, the grading curve, so we got that going, which is nice. Ceiling Fan Man, thank you so much for being with us. It's always a pleasure to have you. Of course, it's even more fun to see you and hang out with you, and I hope we get to do it again soon in person. It was a delightful time getting to spend time with you yesterday, and Mrs. Ceiling Fan Man, of course, and always with the terrific foods and the fun company. And again, if you were able, and so I will just say it really is, thanks again to Ceiling Fan Man for bringing up the situation. Again, with the person that was at our meetup yesterday, won't say who, but he brought it to my attention that they could use a little help. And so if you're able to give even a little bit of help, just make sure and tag it. That's, again, you're just coming in love for our friends. And we'll make sure that it goes to the appropriate place. And again, thank you for that. And thank you for your time, Ceiling Fan Man. We'll make sure and watch you on Friday nights and then wherever. I know you're kind of a stream whore. Yeah.
I spin around. I satellite around quite a bit.
I mean that in the most loving possible way.
Definitely.
But not.
When I look up the word whore, it's always meant in a really nice, loving way. So thank you. I
love,
know.
Yes,
write greeting cards,
but not in a prison way.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So we got that going.
Dear whore wife, happy anniversary.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, where did we were doing so well. You should have you should have said thanks for being here and hit my mic before we got to Well, we'll edit this out. They didn't hear it.
No, okay. I don't. That's the thing about doing a live stream is there's no editing. It just is what it is.
Unless you're the government, then you can edit whatever you want and say it's a live stream.
But right? You just put a deep fake on it, and then there you have it. All right, I am going to say good evening for now, my friend. I'm sure we'll talk again later. I'm going to drop.
Love you guys.
Say
Love
goodbye
it.
to the dogs as well. Say goodbye to Mrs. Ceiling Fan Man. And I will say also goodbye to you, my friends. Let's see, I'll do that and do this and close that and set up this and say again, thanks again for being here, everybody. It's always a delight to have you with us. It is you guys are amazing, and I have been so delighted to make your acquaintance and to get to know each of you. And some of you I got to meet in person yesterday, which was super great. And more, I will get to see you this coming weekend. We'll be there in South Kakalaki at the Solar Return. Thank you again, Karen B., for setting that up for us and for everybody who's making that possible. Super excited about that. Leave you with another tune from Joe Ray and myself from way back in the day. This is called Streams in the Desert. I think this is what this one's called. And I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you again next time. I'll be back on Tuesday morning with a little poppycock or cocky pop. Hopefully Karen's available for that. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Starlight slip away. Trust the light. Pray for dawn. In the morning, see the sun. I crossed the desert to find the well was dry. I closed my eyes, found a river inside that flows to the end of time. Voices speak, none are heard. Silence has the final word. Stories old sound the same till you hear them call your name. I crossed the desert to find the well was dry. I closed my eyes, found a river inside that flows to the end of time. Fading sun sinks again. Night as always makes amends. But as we sleep, dreams reveal all the knowledge we conceal. And I crossed the desert to find the well was dry. I closed my